let's go. Let's move on to the next one, Brad. Very interesting one. One that I will have on my TVs because I like watching both teams play. Cleveland +7 at Baltimore, according to Bovada.
Ooh. Cleveland +7 at Baltimore. You got to go Baltimore here, baby, just to put a hammer on them.
I was very impressed by what Baltimore did to Kansas City.
Me too.
Dude, they played them tough. They tried to bully.
Can we say this? Maybe that's the best performance of the year in a loss, right? I mean,
yeah.
To go in there and keep up with them and bounce back and answer back, and even though they lost that game, that might be the performance of the year so far.
Because I bet on Kansas City to cover, and that was one of those situations.
I did as well.
Yeah, and we did too with our pick six.
Right.
We actually put some money down on that game, and I was feeling really good about that. Actually, to start on Sunday morning, dude, for 3.5 quarters, I was 3-0 in the morning. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna vault up the rankings, and then the rug got pulled out from under me. Baltimore got that late carry, cover, but dude, yeah, I mean, going for it on fourth down, roughing up Patrick Mahomes, which you have to try to do, but it didn't really affect him because every time he got the ball, he threw a touchdown.
Because the guy's nuts.
Oh my gosh, he's so good.
Phenomenal.
Like, what do you do? And this is what we said last week. Like, what do you do? And Baltimore, I mean, shoot, if they got some of those 2-point conversions to go, that's a different game at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. So hats off to them. That Baltimore was, I think, number 5 in my power rankings for a lot of the season so far this year. I had moved them down, but they're still in my top 10. I mean, I think they're my favorite 2-1 team at this point. I think that they're clearly, in my opinion, the number 3 team in the AFC. I just think New England and Kansas City are cut above the other guys, which we saw and was confirmed. But holy smokes, man, they're really impressive. They can run the ball whenever they want to, right?
Yeah.
So if it weren't for Mahomes, and you could see that Baltimore wanted to control the clock and all that stuff, if it wasn't for Mahomes throwing so many touchdowns so quickly, if Baltimore was able to just sit on the ball and run, I think they would have won that game. So at home in Baltimore on a neutral field, you never really know. But if they meet again, the likelihood is that they would have to play in Kansas City. In the playoffs. So we'll see, man. But that was very good. I'm with you, Brad. I'm with Baltimore. I wrote down 30-19 in this score. I think Cleveland is starting to get better, but Baltimore's ability to run and assert their will. Lamar Jackson, by the way, if it was a drier game, Lamar Jackson's accuracy might have been better too, because there were opportunities that Lamar Jackson was hitting the first couple of weeks, didn't hit against Kansas City. I like it, man. I like Baltimore. I'm a big fan of them this year. You and I, Brad, are always a little bit higher on Baltimore than anybody else is in the betting community before the season, but they're playing really, really good. And dating back to last year, dude, I think they're about 9-2 in their last 11, something like that.
Right, something like that. Absolutely.
They're a tough out, man. They're gonna be a nightmare to play in playoff time when the weather's bad and they can control the clock. Lamar Jackson, if he can stay healthy, can run.
I mean, from that standpoint, they might fare a little better than Kansas City because Kansas City has an aerial attack, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're so damn talented that the cold weather probably won't stop them, but it's not going to help them.
Yeah, I would not want to play this team if I'm New England or Kansas City. I would not want to play this team in the second round of the playoffs. And one of these teams is going to have to play that Baltimore team, man. It's going to be a rough shot. So awesome. I think you and I are both very impressed with what Baltimore's doing from a fantasy football point of view. I don't really love anybody outside of Odell Beckham. The one thing we have seen is that this Baltimore defense will give up passing yardage. I think Odell Beckham will score well. I'm not big into Jarvis Landry. I think Nick Chubb's going to have tough sledding against this team, even though they're going to feature him a little bit more than they have in other games. Baltimore, I like Lamar Jackson every week. I like Mark Ingram every week now. This rushing attacks for real. I like the tight ends. Mark Andrews, assuming he's healthy, I like him. And Marquise Brown, I actually like him as well. So I can't remember the last time, Brad, I liked as many offensive players from the Baltimore Ravens as I did this year. But they're fun to watch, man. I really do. Even though it's just ground and pound, man, it's fun to watch them assert their will.